About the growth trajectory going ahead. Rajeev, good morning and thanks for being with us. Brokers have been talking about the normalization of project margins and whether they're going to act as a catalyst for RITES. Tell us a little bit about competitive bidding, if finalized by the railways, how it's different from the current model.
Sorry, I request you to repeat the question.
Sure, of course. You know, we've been hearing about how the normalization of project margins may work as a catalyst for RITES. Talk to us about that and whether you also see that that growth coming in, and also if competitive bidding, if it's been finalized by the railways, how does that change things?
Okay, coming to the margins, the consultancies we are in, these are actually high-tech consultancies, so they would continue to remain, high margin business. And normalization of margin, if you are talking on the turnkey project sites, I'll come to that. As far as RITES is concerned, we normally have been targeting 35% EBITDA levels margin, including a component of other income we normally make. And at PAT level, 20-21% margins are reasonably favorable, and this is a pooled margin of 5 businesses, not consultancy alone. So I don't see any threat to the margins in near future. Now coming to the railway projects allocation, yes, there was a method announced earlier that 8.5% margin would be given for executing turnkey projects. And they want to review this and distribute to railway PSUs only those projects on a competitive bidding basis. I see no problem in participating in those projects. Rather, this will actually accelerate the growth of taking the projects and executing. And the margins can be different depending upon the level of difficulties in a project.
Current business is coming only because of the fact that you enjoy special status with railways. No. That's not the issue. We get a lot of business. Almost entire metro business, highways business, airport business is coming on competitive bidding basis. A portion of railway business is on nomination, but there is no danger if we have to compete and get it. We should be able to maintain the growth. Broadly, what you're saying is the following, which
I don't see as a challenge.
Fair point. I just wanted to clear the air on that. So do you think that your nomination business, which is a small part, will contract, or will your nomination business be a stable business for coming couple of years?
I think both will continue. The smaller ones will continue on nomination, and for the turnkey works which government is planning to do within the PSUs, that portion only might go for bidding.
How much of your current business
risk of the nomination business getting sidelined?
How much of your current business is non-PSU or non-government?
Say about 1/3.
Okay.
Almost say 35% or so.
Okay. The construction industry is going through a tough time. Some have order book problem, some have credit problem, some have both. But all construction companies are going through a challenging time. What is your experience? How has the slowdown impacted you? We also understand that railways right now is not running a very profitable balance sheet, so they're also going through a financial crunch, so to speak. What has been your experience with your clients for 2020? Are things looking up, or things are looking still sticky and bad?
Well, the current year outlook we had given of operating revenue of 17% growth, 2,300 crore rupees with 17% growth. We are very confident that we will achieve this. And if the half-year performance is an indicator, we have actually recorded a 71% growth in the H1 compared to H1 of 19. I think that speaks about the comfort in which our order book is taking us through. And there's no payment, you can say, disruption. There's no credit issue affecting us. And the projects which are of capital nature are actually going ahead as scheduled. We are not impacted so far by any of such moves.
us a color then, what sort of orders are you expecting in the near term, and more importantly, does railway give you more in terms of assessment of margins, risk profile, etc. of each project?
The orders in the pipeline, I will say that we are working on a major export order with an African country, and this should be known in Q4. Besides that, there are highway projects outside India, consulting business. We are also looking at turnkey projects coming from railways. Now the projects would be out, I think, this month onwards. So we hope to have a reasonable role in that in Q4. Also, we are looking at partnering with the state JVs with IRs, with IR, Indian Railways. There are state JVs. So we are also looking at their projects now.
Okay. On the export front, how are things looking?
That will be a new segment we would be looking at.
Okay. And on the export front, how are things looking? Where do you see?
So far, we have been.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Exports have given us good growth in last year as well as this year, and the current order book will show a good growth in FY21 also. But we are still building up on the order book, and one significant change is that we have now started working on other gauges. The railway sector has got different gauges: broad gauge, meter gauge, Cape gauge, standard gauge. So the new order I am talking about is on a Cape gauge country. Once that materializes, I think that will open up new areas for exports for us, for which I see a lot of potential because of domestic manufacturing capacity of Indian Railway production units. And we get it manufactured there. So I see a lot of action on the export side, on Cape gauge, as well as the standard gauge market, for which we are working to develop prototypes.
What's your sense in terms of execution in the second half of, FY20? Do you feel we're going to see a pickup? How do you see the order book translating in the second half?
Well, our order book, which was 5,833 crores at the beginning of this H2, we are going as planned execution. We are not worried about the cash inflows that's happening. So I see no disruption till March targets. Absolutely on track.
Right, thanks for joining us then.
So we should be able to maintain or possibly surpass the growth target given to the market.
Okay, great. Thanks so much for joining us then this morning.